Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to Every House Has a Story. My name's Brandon. I'm an architect here in Dallas, and I do a lot of work on new homes in the area. And what we're seeing is truly unprecedented. I mean, it is an explosion. The intensity in the market has reached untenable amounts of steam. So we are going on all cylinders here, trying to get people's houses designed and built. But the problem that we're having is just like so many others around the nation, we're running out of materials. We're running out of concrete, wood, you name it. I mean, it's brick. Everything is somewhat of a challenge. So for you guys today, I kind of want to talk to you about what I'm seeing in the real estate market, how explosive this growth is here in Dallas, as well as the rest of the country, and what on earth is happening. Why is housing in such demand? So I can tell you a few things that I have seen, just not only anecdotally, but also doing a little research myself, trying to figure out what's going on with this market. So definitely the hottest I've ever seen it in my career. And people, I think, after living in their home since January of 2020, then getting locked in their homes in March 2020, realized very quickly that their home wasn't the right feel, the right fit. They didn't live in a house they really liked. So you get a lot of people that are changing, right? So that's bringing a whole different group of people into the market. So maybe they wanted a workout room in their new home. Maybe they wanted a study that they could close the doors instead of working from the dining table. These are the type of people that are coming out looking for new homes right now. And that's one of the reasons why the market is so hot. A second reason the market is so hot is we are seeing an unprecedented migration from the East and West Coast. So I think this is the first year that, first census that California had more people leave the state than came into the state. And that is putting a big boom on some of the middle parts of the country, as well as some of the more affordable areas like Boise, Houston, Austin. All of these cities are seeing explosive growth. Dallas, Frisco especially. Everybody's trying to get away from these high tax lifestyles, and a lot of them are tech workers. So I get to work with a lot of folks that are relocating to Dallas market who are tech entrepreneurs or employees, and they're able to work from anywhere. So that is the number two reason why we've been seeing a bunch of people here. We're getting people from just getting tired of the home, and the second thing is we're seeing a bunch of people migrate here from the East and West Coast. So a lot of my homeowners really aren't from Dallas. They're moving in from out of state. Of course, I sell a luxury product, so that makes a lot of sense, because if you're buying a $1.2, $1.3, $1.4, $1.5 million home, you're probably either going to be, to be able to afford that. You're in the top echelon of buyers in the Dallas market, or you're from out of state and you're used to a comparable $1.2 million home. And then, of course, my favorite thing is when my buyers show me what they had in California for 1.2. And then, of course, on the flip side, as you can see, what you get here in the Dallas Frisco market for 1.2. It's incredible. I'm talking on one side, you have laundry rooms in your kitchen. On the other side, you have, in a gourmet kitchen that has, 6-burner range, double ovens, cabinets to the ceiling, 11-foot tall ceilings in the kitchen, 20-foot ceilings in your family, all these amazing things. And it's an equal trade because you're a tech worker. You can work from anywhere. So that's one of the big things as well that I've seen. And I think the other thing that is fueling this boom is, especially in the higher price point, is these incredible interest rates. I talked about that in a previous video. If you get a chance, check it out. Interest rates being what they are has brought a lot of fuel to this construction boom, and people from all kind of walks of life are able to afford more home or a higher priced home, maybe not more home anymore because the market has appreciated so much over this last year, and that really has caused a dramatic boom, right? So an $800,000 house this year probably is going to run you for a comparable payment what a $600,000 house would have costed you just a couple of years ago. And that's just because the interest rates are so low. And like we talked about in the previous video, definitely click it, subscribe, hit me up, ask questions. That we talked about being most of your payment is being allocated towards the interest. So that lower interest rate allows more people to climb into these upper echelon markets. And then people, so those are the big three things I think that have fueled this market. A lot of people are very wary to enter the market. And so I think what's going to happen is we're going to see a little bit of a cool down because people are so overwhelmed by the amount of competition there is in the market. A realtor friend of mine, top producer in Dallas-Fort Worth, just told me that they had a house sell for $300,000 over asking. $300,000. Appraisal waiver, inspection waiver, the whole bit, $300,000 over asking. And for that specific home, that was almost 30% over asking, which is just incredible. The stories that I've been hearing from my real estate friends is typically on average, it's about 10 to 15% over the ask price. But to see almost a 25% over ask was just absolutely incredible. So the question you always have to ask yourself is, can this trend keep? For us here in the Dallas market, our homes have been a lot less expensive historically than our counterparts on the East and West Coast. What that means for us is as the fuel from these East and West Coast cities where the real estate values were already high comes into our market, you're going to see that appreciation. And once you see appreciation, especially in housing, especially in a very competitive corporate environment like you have here in Dallas, it's very difficult for those prices to go down. Evidence of that is in 2008, whenever we had the Great Recession. Dallas pricing within 12 months completely rebounded. And then after that went on to have marginal growth for a few years and then pretty explosive growth 2012 and beyond. So there's a lot there. I encourage you guys who are kind of on the fence, get yourself in the right shoes to buy, know the answers to the questions that you're going to have, specifically about how much can you afford, where you want to live, what style layout you're going to choose, and what makes the most sense for you. I also wanted to kind of walk you guys through some of the other trends that I'm seeing in the market, which is not only, I think, a little bit of hesitation for new buyers now, or just now beginning their journey to just say, look, I can't do it. I've also seen people really just kind of, not only the new buyers kind of getting frustrated, realizing they don't have 300 grand over ask, but also I've been seeing a bunch of folks that are kind of just worn out, right? So they've been looking for a house since November. And that's really when we started to see this upward trajectory in the market. December of this past year, about 8 months ago, I started realizing things were different here. I sold about $14 million in new construction in a month, which is unprecedented for me. Normally, if I'm doing between 2 million and 4 million in new construction each month, that's pretty normal pace for me. 4 million, everybody's celebrating, right? So to sell 14 million in a single month, that was just unprecedented, right? And for, I think, us in the real estate industry, we thought that this was just a late boom in the market, late buying season, because March, April, May, June, it wasn't really until July that home sales started to pick up. So we just assumed it was kind of a late rush to the game. But after December, even January was busier. Even February was busier. At this point now, there's sometimes 30 offers for a single home here in Dallas-Fort Worth. So definitely encourage you guys, do your research, do your homework. We are going to see, I think, house prices stabilize probably 2 years from now. Based on what I'm seeing with the amount of appreciation in the material and increase in construction costs, I think we're 2 years away from really seeing a stabilization in the market. And I think that is because we just have such an influx right now in the Dallas market of corporate, high-paying jobs, people like tech workers who can live anywhere and want to live in a great city like Dallas. So I think we got about another 2 years on this run. I think we'll see, from the research that I've read, we're seeing an anticipated 5 to 10% increase over the next year. And then we expect house prices to be relatively stable for about 5 to 7 years after. So you won't see that appreciation after here in about 12 to 24 months. It should be pretty static. So mainly because we anticipate interest rates rising, thus balancing out pricing. So that's really the kind of key to watch for, is watch that federal interest rate, see what lenders can lend money on and how much they can lend it at to make their money. So keep an eye on that, because that's really going to affect the higher price points. Because as interest rates go up, the ability to afford the higher price point home is also affected. So I want you guys to click subscribe if you like the video. I'm going to be talking some more about this stuff. I've got a couple of videos in mind for you guys. Lots of good content to share. I really appreciate you guys watching. And of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. My name is Brandon, and this is Every House Has a Story. Thanks again for watching.